What's going on, YouTube? Ferocity here. Hope you guys are doing well. With the launch of Season 2 Reloaded today, it's become very clear that Call of Duty just doesn't take Black Ops 6 or Warzone seriously anymore. And I'm not talking about the cosmetic side of things. I know people will argue that they don't really take that side of things seriously, and I agree with you. You're right. They've moved so far away from the original identity of the franchise with these crazy and wacky skins that it does feel like a completely different franchise. But hey, revenue goes up, the crazy skins are going to continue to pour in. So don't get upset about that. Instead, get upset about just how lazy the content has been throughout the entire life cycle of Black Ops 6 and Warzone. Honestly, this year, so far, has been abysmal. And it's further proof that Call of Duty only cares about that revenue going up and not about the quality of their game. They sure did a great job marketing this game to people, making people believe Call of Duty was back and we're re-entering a golden age for this franchise. But oh boy, were we duped. This has to be one of the most uninspiring, underwhelming Call of Duties I have ever played. The game has a ton of promise, it really does, but it is held back at every single turn by a company, by a franchise that just doesn't care anymore. They don't take it seriously. Let's look at Warzone, for instance, right? Warzone this year had a massive integration when Black Ops 6 released Season 1. An integration that brought in a brand new map called Area 99. That map is easily the worst map we've seen in all of Warzone so far. And it's not even close. And instead of trying to rework the map over the last couple months, they've just kind of left it to its own devices and are hoping to God that people get nostalgic enough over Verdansk that it can save Warzone. But I'm going to be honest with you guys, it's not going to work. It's really not going to work. It's going to fall flat. Because everything they do recently falls flat because they don't take it seriously enough. They don't care enough. It sucks that the player base cares more about this franchise than those who develop it do. This should be their little baby. They should be trying to coddle it, trying to nurture it, trying to ensure it's the best it possibly can be. But instead, all they care about is that the store is readily available and it can act as one giant ad to make more and more revenue that does not get reinvested into the game. And that's what we're clearly seeing right now. And while we're talking about Warzone, how about all those quality of life improvements that were supposed to come with Season 2 and Season 3? Where's the massive anti-cheat change? Seriously, where is it? I'm still waiting for it. But don't worry, guys, we got 12 quality of life changes with Season 2 Reloaded. That's certainly going to enhance the fact that Area 99 sucks. That people are done with Urzikstan. People are done with Rebirth Island. They don't care. They need new content. But yes, please tell me again, Verdansk is going to save this. Remember that even if new content comes around, it's only going to be able to cover up the crumbling foundation that the game is built upon for so long. That's the issue I have with Verdansk. It's only going to take a matter of time before people come to realize that the map isn't going to change everything. We need a complete overhaul from servers to anti-cheat to matchmaking. We need a complete overhaul in gameplay mechanics. We need to move the game towards a battle royale again. But I've already talked about that extensively. The game has moved away from being a battle royale and has become something else entirely. And it's not as enjoyable as it once was. So that's the problem with the foundation. That's what needs to be fixed. And content can help, 100%. It can mask some of those problems, but only for a short period of time. Now, if we shift over to multiplayer, a place where the content is plentiful, it's bountiful. There's a ton of content in Black Ops 6. I'm not going to ignore that. But a lot of the content is mediocre at best and abysmal at worst. Even looking at what was available to us at launch, that's abysmal. The launch maps were terrible. I've talked about the content being underwhelming numerous times, and nothing has really changed. And adding in a map that is as lazy as Bullet is actually unbelievable. Somebody in their right mind decided that that was a good idea and that was going to go over well with this community. And guess what? There's enough brain-rotted individuals that play this franchise that are going to fall in love with it. But it is just the most generic, uninspiring garbage I have ever seen in my life. And I do not understand anybody that willingly goes and plays that map unless it's for the lulz or for trolling. Honestly. And that's kind of where we're at with the content in Call of Duty. You can tell with a map like Bullet, they're not taking the game seriously at all. Sure, adding something like grind is great. Don't get me wrong. I hope it plays well. But that's going to be what? 1, 2, 3 maps in this game that play well while the rest of them are complete and utter trash? When has Call of Duty ever had that low of a hit rate when it comes to good maps? Seriously. The maps in this game are complete and utter trash, and it goes along the same lines as the content that we've seen in Warzone. The content isn't there. It's not good content. So you can try to bring in as much content as you want, but until it gets better, it's not going to improve anything. And then in addition to that, the foundation that the game is built on, the same way the Warzone's built on a bad foundation, this game is built on a bad foundation, so it's not going to resolve anything. So what are we really doing here? I don't care about new content. I don't care about spawn fixes. Actually, you know what? I do kind of care about spawn fixes, but let's be honest here. They've been trying to fix the spawns on this engine since MW 2019 and have failed at every single turn. The spawns have not improved since what? 2018? That's a joke. That's embarrassing. But that's modern day Call of Duty for you. They never take a necessary step forward, a legitimate step forward, a meaningful step forward. It's consistently just trying to work within the mud and figure it out as you go along. And it just does not work. At least for the player base. At least for those who care about this franchise. Because it's clear they don't care. Again, revenue goes up, that's what they care about. Shareholders are happy, that's what they care about. And it's clear where their priorities lie. And it's clear a lot of you seem to share the same priorities as them, which is new cosmetic, ooh, need to buy. And they love that. They love the fact that you buy into it. And whatever your reason is for buying it, I'm not here to say you shouldn't do it. I'm just here to say if you want a better game, you shouldn't do it. But if you don't care and you like the current state of the game, go ahead, spend your money how you want. Just don't come back and cry when the franchise continues to erode as a result of you not being able to keep your wallet closed. That's the consequences for those actions. And that's what I'm seeing before my very eyes. I was there when they first put in microtransactions in Call of Duty. I am still here today. I've seen them go from being reasonable to being gambling to being what they are now, which is pure and utter greed. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But you support the greed. And honestly, it originally was a great idea. The quid pro quo. Content for content, right? Like content for cosmetics. I didn't think it was a bad idea at the time, but I'm starting to believe it is. Because what we're receiving content-wise is so bad and is downright embarrassing. What you got in map packs was more complete, more unique, and more interesting than what you're receiving with these content drops now. And if it meant bringing back map packs in exchange for not having these cosmetics, I might consider it. I know we're never going back down that road because it's not going to make Activision as much money, but it would be nice to see what they could produce today with the shackles off and creativity spinning and actually having something that they do care about, that they do take seriously. Because those maps used to be interesting. I always think back to, I think it was called Splash in Black Ops 3, the water park map. They would not create something that creative today. They just wouldn't be able to do it. They wouldn't know how. They're like, how do we make this into a point of interest on Warzone, on a future Warzone map, which a lot of these maps feel like nowadays. And it's just becoming more and more transparent that Call of Duty is taking steps to being less and less creative and less unique. They're just really leaning into being as generic as possible so they can appeal to as many people as possible. And if there's one thing I've learned over the course of my life, is when you try to appeal to everybody, you in turn appeal to no one. And they're going down that path. They're going down the road. They're not there yet. where they're alienating everybody, but they are starting to alienate a fair number of players, myself included. I do not connect with their content anymore. The same way I stopped connecting with Halo's content a long time ago. Because you're trying to appeal to too many people instead of appealing to your fans and trying to grow fans organically. You're trying to say, ooh, we're a generic shooter. Just play us because we're the generic shooter, instead of trying to build your community through an identity. And that's what's missing from Call of Duty. I know this is a very long-winded video. I know that I may have gone over some points 3 or 4 times, and I may have reinforced points that I've talked about numerous times. But it bears repeating. Call of Duty is not in a healthy state, regardless of what the fanboys want to tell you, regardless of what Activision wants to tell you. This game should be better. And that's just the cold hard truth. What we're getting isn't good enough. And it's because the people at the top simply do not take the franchise seriously. So that's it for the video today. I do take this channel seriously. I do take your feedback seriously. I want to hear what you have to say down below in that comment section. I'd love to hear from you as always. So if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. If you want to see more videos from me, please hit that subscribe button. Please help me get to 4,000 subs. That would be awesome. Thank you so much for helping me get there in the first place. Whether you're new or old, I love you and I appreciate you. So thank you again for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.